notice you weren't okay?
Probably when I started getting nervous about the things I love.
Today we are discussing the film project The Stride of Silence. The main question we will discuss today will be, how do your products use or challenge conventions, and how do they represent social groups or issues?
My film challenges the common stereotype that athletes are perfectionists who do not struggle. Traditionally, sports films represent athletes as mentally tough, physically dominant, and emotionally controlled. Athletes are often portrayed as strong leaders who push through pain without hesitation. In my film, I challenge the typical idea, expressing many athletes do struggle mentally.
How does your film use those typical conventions?
At first, I intentionally use film conventions. The opening scenes include typical training and focused athletes. This reinforces the idea of the perfect athlete. The characters appear confident and successful, which fits the audience expectations.
And how do you challenge those conventions?
As the film progresses, the audience sees what's happening behind the scenes. The athlete experiences anxiety, self-doubt, and pressure from coaches and social media. Instead of always succeeding, there are moments of failure and emotional vulnerability. This directly challenges the stereotype that athletes don't struggle.
And you represent that struggle.
Teen athletes are expected to perform perfectly academically, socially, and physically. There's a lot of pressure on athletes to maintain strength and rankings. By showing anxiety and mental struggles, I am representing the social issue that is not always openly discussed among sports. It offers visibility to athletes who feel like they must hide their feelings.
How does this representation impact social groups?
It represents teenage athletes more realistically. Instead of portraying them as brave and outgoing, it shows athletes as young people who focus on balancing school, relationships, and expectations. It also addresses the mental challenges in competitive environments. Viewers who are athletes are able to see themselves reflected and feel less alone with their struggles.
Are able to relate to the approach.
Yes, because even non-athletes understand the pressure aligned to be perfect. The stereotype says athletes are naturally strong and are never nervous to be placed under pressure. But in reality is they are human. By breaking the thought of perfectionism, the film encourages open conversation of struggles.
Summarize how your production challenges conventions.
My film begins with a traditional sports technique to meet audience expectations, but then challenges them by exposing emotional vulnerability and mental struggles. It challenges the idea that athletes are flawless, and it represents them as complex people facing real social pressure.